G'day everyone and Happy New Year. First of all, I just want to apologise for the state of this shirt and the nip slip. It's a very old shirt. It's just a comfy thing to chuck on when I'm driving, so apologies for that. I'd also like to apologise for the state of this microphone. I have been meaning to get a new one. I know the sound quality is terrible. It's on the list of things to do. It's been pretty hectic, so I'll get around to it. Also, the light fades pretty quick in this video. I was working last week in between Christmas and New Year, heading out of Auckland. It gets dark pretty quick and it's pretty dim at the end, but I just wanted to share with you some thoughts and opinions I've had recently. It's had some conversations and some suggestions from people who, just sort of sparked the idea of doing this video, and see what you think. Depending on how well it's received, I may do more. I've got plenty of thoughts and ideas and opinions I'd like to share with you. If you like it, let me know. If you've got any suggestions or comments or whatever, let me know below, and we'll see how we go. It's just trying to throw some new stuff out there and see what you think. So by all means, tell me, and we'll see. Also, more edits are coming. I've got 2 cameras now and the drone, so we've got a ton of footage. Just having some technical issues with uploading on the old home internet. Big files. I've gone for the higher resolution in the video, so bear with me. More stuff's coming pretty soon.
Okay guys, hope you can hear me alright. Just trying to come up with some different ideas for videos, and I've had a couple of people sort of ask me my opinion on some issues in the transport industry recently, and some of my own personal experiences I thought I'd talk about. A lot of it is to do with the way things have changed in the industry, with different rules, regulations, different, I don't know, a lot of things have changed in the industry over recent years especially. But obviously one of the biggest changes a lot of people have probably noticed is a lot of immigrant drivers coming in and bringing in maybe a different approach to the industry, maybe a different culture, maybe a different style, and a lot of drivers aren't accepting of that. There are some bad attitudes on both sides, I will say. Come across a lot of issues myself personally on the road recently, with not just immigrant drivers, but some terrible driving just in general, but on occasion these guys have been immigrant drivers, and so this is the issue that I want to address just at the moment. I won't name any companies or anything like that, but I will just start by saying, you know, I'm not generalising. I'm not trying to focus on a particular race or particular culture in the industry. Just like I say, going by recent events and experiences. You know, I will say that there are plenty of bad drivers in our industry on the road at the moment that are not immigrant drivers, and conversely, there are a lot of great guys out there doing it, you know, with the rest of us, working hard, great attitude, great guys. I've worked alongside some fantastic immigrant drivers who, just top blokes. So, like I say, I'm not necessarily focusing on, like, picking on a particular sector of the industry, but just want to address the particular issue around, say, you know, these guys in the industry. We know that there's a lot of, for example, Indian guys who've come in our industry, and there's a lot of people aren't necessarily happy with them. There's some bad attitudes, like I say, on both sides of the spectrum, and I'm interested to get to the bottom of if anyone, you know, like below wants to comment on this video and give me opinions. I'm actually looking to touch base with some guys I know, you know, immigrant guys who have come into this country from somewhere else and driving here, because, you know, like there's always two sides, and it's all well and good to say, you know, these guys are terrible drivers or these guys have a shit attitude or whatever, but, you know, like, you know, they're coming from completely different culture. They're coming from the other side of the world where things are different, and they're coming here and maybe they're not assimilating, maybe they're trying to, but also maybe they are and they're not being accepted. You know, like there's a lot of these guys won't even be on the CV these days, and I don't know necessarily the reason behind that, but I suspect a lot of it is because, you know, I've literally heard it. Guys will be talking on the CV, you know, in their own language amongst themselves, and someone will come on the CV and start mocking them or giving them shit, or, you know, speak English or go home, or all that kind of racist stuff that benefits nobody at the end of the day. And so, like I say, I want to address that because people forget, you know, Kiwi guys go all over the world, and, you know, we go to the UK or Canada or Australia or America, everybody speaks English, so it's not a big deal. But I mean, if you know, say a couple of Kiwi drivers that go to India, Ukraine, you know, somewhere in Europe, maybe with a foreign language, you know, you're probably going to make some attempt to learn the local language. But I mean, if you're over there with other Kiwis and you're talking on the CV, you're going to talk in your own language, aren't you? So think of it from the flip side. The other thing is, I know a lot of these guys are coming into here and they're getting zero training, and you know, like, I was fortunate enough to grow up in trucks, so I was taught by my uncle all of the old school ways. I was taught gradually. I watched and learned things, you know, firsthand riding in the truck. My uncle was a logger. He also did flat deck work. He did some produce. He did all sorts of stuff, timber. And I learned a lot of stuff back when kids could ride into mills and factories and onto the board. And so I learned all that stuff, you know, firsthand. A lot of these guys aren't getting the benefit of that these days, and they're probably not getting the kind of training they should be. So, you know, like if they're getting caught up in trouble, you know, they're having problems on the job, on the road, maybe no one's helped them. Maybe no one's tried to give them any kind of training or assistance. And I feel for some of these guys because they want to learn, and they're not getting any kind of help. Because obviously people, you know, in this day and age with the whole, I'll be honest, one of the main reasons I'm not on Facebook anymore and haven't been for years is I got really sick of following a bunch of trucking pages on Facebook, and that whole culture of, if you see someone doing something bad, like maybe they've backed into a car, maybe they've hit a bus stop or something like that, the immediate reaction is to get it on camera, name and shame them, you know, film it, post it, everybody has a good laugh. Mate, you can't park here. That whole mate, you can't park there thing drives me nuts. You know, we've all had mishaps, we've all made mistakes. I'm not saying, you know, like I myself personally have not had, fortunately, I've had a couple of accidents that have not been my fault. One, or a couple of minor ones and one major one. None of them have been my fault. I've not ended up in a paddock. I've not ended up on my side. And but you know, we've all come close. We've all had those close calls, and it could have easily ended differently for most of us. And maybe some of us have been a little bit lucky, if we're honest. But at the end of the day, we're all out there. You know, sometimes guys fall asleep. Sometimes you push it a bit hard. It can happen. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean these guys are cowboys or turkeys or idiots. Maybe they just had a long day, you know. So, and like I say, we're all guilty of it. Myself personally as well. You know, we've all had that judgment call. You see a truck on its side, especially if it's a particular company, and you think, but you know, like plenty of local drivers tipping trucks over as well over the years, and it still happens. So I think, I don't know, I think myself personally, coming into a new year shortly, I'm just sort of re-evaluating my perspectives on the industry. I've been driving trucks in New Zealand for over 30 years now, and I'm sort of starting to look at whether I want to stay in the industry, whether the industry still is where I feel I want to be. I love driving, don't get me wrong, but you know, I wonder if it's too late to bring back some of that old culture. There's still a lot of guys out there with the old school culture, calling up on the CV, warning people about stuff on the road. You know, you see a guy broken down, copy mate, you're good there, checking up, you know. Maybe you see someone spin out on a hill, maybe you pull over and see if you can help out. You know, there's less and less of that these days. And I myself have helped guys, and I've had guys help me. And it's good to see that there is still stuff like that happening, but I feel like there's a lot of guys out there now who will just blow past a broken down truck without a second thought. Is this guy alright? Has he got phone signal? Has he got someone on the way? Does he need some help? I would like, if possible, to, in my own way, try and influence people to reconsider the attitudes that they have. Because, you know, that culture can come back. We can bring that back as a community. And, you know, I miss those days where we all looked out for each other. There was a brotherhood in trucking where we all sort of looked out for each other. And, you know, we can bring that back. And like I say, there's always going to be guys that have a shit attitude. There's always going to be guys that are arrogant, that don't want to be part of that. And you can't, there's nothing you can do about that. But, for example, in the past, I mean, I don't know how many people will remember, but I had a video go viral a few years back driving for a different company, and I didn't have a dash cam back then, and I had a guy do something stupid, and he, so I got my phone out, filmed it on Snapchat, put it on my private story. I didn't post it anywhere public, social media wise, but someone screen recorded it, which I didn't even know you could do back then. And it went viral. It was all over Facebook, it was on the Herald Facebook page, it was a big deal. Now this particular guy, I don't regret that video, because I was contacted not only by the company involved, but also by the police who were interested in using the video to chase up the driver for repercussions, because this particular incident was incredibly dangerous, and this guy needed more than just a talking to. You know, this guy needed serious repercussions to happen, and I'm glad to say that they did, because of said video. So, but obviously now I have a dash cam in my truck at all times, and much safer way to capture these incidents. But what I will say is, I never intentionally posted that video. Like, that was never my intention for that video to go on social media. It was not meant to go on Facebook. It was not meant to go viral. It was not meant to be widely known in the public sector. It was just, in my experience, it was just like, holy shit, look at this guy, that's crazy. And I wanted to share it amongst people I knew. Like I say, wasn't aware, a little bit naive on my part, which is another point I could make in this video. Be careful what you post, because that stuff goes out there, can't get it back. You know, you post something on social media, someone screen records it, and I didn't even know. I didn't even know until someone tagged me in a post on Facebook. I was on Facebook back then, where this thing had been shared. And I had no idea you could screen record a private Snapchat. I was not notified through Snapchat that this had been, that it happened. So it was a big lesson for me. And you know, you just, like I say, you've got to be aware. Obviously a lot of people in the comments on this Facebook post were like attacking me. You know, oh sure, the guy in the other truck's an idiot, but what about the guy that's on his phone recording while he's driving? He's just as big an idiot. And so I had a lot of blowback on me for that as well, which was entirely unexpected. Although having spoken to the police, it's interesting to note the guy who was high up in CBIU at the time assured me that he said, look, if you don't have a dash cam in your truck and you see something incredibly dangerous, get it on your phone if you can, safely, because it helps us if we need to chase it up for prosecution. So again, probably wasn't the best idea to get it on my phone, but I didn't end up, the police looked upon it favourably in that it helped them, so it wasn't necessarily a bad thing to do. But yeah, it was a big lesson. Be careful what you post. Be careful what you put on your social media, because that stuff, once it gets out, you know, that's out there forever. You know, that video or whatever can come back and haunt you. So just be aware of that. Like, that was a big lesson for me. The point I'm getting to in a roundabout way is I had an incident recently with a driver from a specific company. In fact, I had a couple of runs with this guy. I regularly see this company on a road that we travel on regularly, had some close calls. And one night travelling through roadworks, I'd slowed down. The speed limit for these particular roadworks was 50. I slowed down to 50, a little bit below, might have been a little bit shy of 50. And this guy had wanted to come past me for a while, and I would have communicated with him if I thought he had a CB, but I know he doesn't because I've tried to talk to him before. So I had planned to let him pass just a little bit further up the road anyway. We were coming towards a town. I was going to move over and let him go, but he decided he didn't want to wait. He decided the roadworks was a fantastic time while I was slowing down to pull out past me. So he overtook me through roadworks, speed limit of roadworks 50 k's. I was doing 50-ish. He was probably doing, I don't know, I want to say 80-ish. So rather than chase him down the road, try and bail him up, you know, things get violent, rather than post it on social media, rather than call the police, I kept the dashcam video. Next day I emailed it to his company and I just said, look, just want someone to speak to this guy. This kind of driving, not really on, you know. We all share this road, and we've had this particular company, we've had a lot of roadworks on this road recently, and there's a bunch of us who've had a guts full of these guys flying through roadworks, not slowing down, showering everybody in loose metal, you know, chips the trucks, breaks windscreens, cracks windscreens. It's just not on. I've seen these guys actually struggle to maintain control of their truck, come flying around the corner, plenty of signage, hit the roadworks, and trailers are getting locked up, going sideways. It's madness, and it's so unnecessary. We're all going to get there when we get there, you know, like, no one's in that much of a hurry. So so I emailed this company, and I got a response pretty much immediately. The guys took it seriously. They said, look, we've located the driver. He was actually from a temp agency. He was filling in, and they said, look, we've told them don't send this guy back. And I don't know what's happened from here, but like I said, you know, I wasn't looking to ruin this guy's driving career. I wasn't looking for him to get fired if he was a full-time driver. Just wanted someone to speak to him and say, hey, this kind of driving is not on. You know, this is not the culture of our company, that particular company. It's not the culture, hopefully, of most companies on the road, I'd like to think. And you know, many of us are very proud of our trucks, some less so. You know, you're driving a company truck, it's not very flash, maybe you don't give a shit. That's fine. Maybe you don't want to detar and polish the wheels, maybe you don't want to do silicone tyres, that's fine. But you've got to consider other road users. You can't be speeding through roadworks and breaking people's windscreens, that's just not on. So, you know, these guys need to be told. So if you know these guys, maybe have a word with them. Like I say, we'll, as a community, pull together, find these guys, and just, like I say, I'm not talking about the old school down the back of the truck stop justice behind the trailers. I'm talking about just have a word. Hey mate, it's not on, you know, you're driving like a bit of a dick, maybe rein it in a bit, you know, like just take it easy. It's all good, you know, like it doesn't have to be yeah, I don't know, like I say, I feel like this is where some of the hatred comes from. These guys like, these guys are idiots on the road, we all hate them, roadie, bro. And the attitude, what happens is the bad attitude gets thrown at them, they throw bad attitude back, and it goes nowhere. You butt heads, no one goes anywhere. So maybe it's time for a different approach. Maybe it's time to have a chat with these guys. I've actually approached a couple of these guys at truck stops and said, hey mate, I was following you for a while, roadie, you know, maybe take it easy, maybe just slow down a bit, stay on the lines, you know, and just have a chat. You know, like at the end of the day, you might tell you to fuck off, you might not, but I myself, when I was starting out driving, very early on in my career, I was working alongside a guy who was pretty ripshit and busty. He had a pretty cool American truck with straight pipes, and he thought he was the man. And, you know, young guy with a cool truck. Of course he did. But, you know, we used to do trailer swaps at Stag Park, and this guy would come in, and I'd get up there early. I was living in Taupo at the time, actually. I'd get up there early, I'd be having a coffee with a couple of people I knew there, and I'd watch the reaction. This guy would come in, straight pipes on the jakes, down through the gears, through Stag Park, trucks everywhere, and I'd see all the heads turn, and I'd see people just shaking their heads at me like, look, here's this bloody turkey from this company again. And I stopped wearing my company shirt. I was so proud. It was my first line haul job. I was so proud to be working for this company. I loved the uniform, but I would never wear it for my trailer swap at Stag Park because I didn't want to be associated with this guy. Sorry, we were sharing a truck, but we were trailer swapping with another driver. Now the other driver was the opposite. This guy would coast in, real professional, had a lot of respect in the trucking community, and him and his wife actually sort of team drove that particular truck. And we were having dinner one night, and they said, you know, like, had a few people keeping an eye on you, you know, like, again, this is another thing everyone should know, very small community, you know, you get a name for yourself out on the road, one way or the other, whether it's good or bad, and sometimes it's hard to shake that name, so just be careful what kind of name you get for yourself. And they said, you know, like, we've had a few people keeping an eye on you, and you know, you seem like you're doing all right, but now's the time to decide what kind of driver you want to be. Do you want to be one of those guys that's known as a real cowboy, or do you want to be one of those guys that's known as a real smooth, tidy, professional operator? And I used to watch different guys come in to Stag Park in different trucks. Guys I respected, guys I looked up to, and I watched the way they drove, you know. Did they come in, wow, through all the gears down through the jakes? Or did they just pull into the driveway, find that gear, third or whatever, and just coast in that one gear? Engine brakes off, retarder off, whatever, just coast in. And those were the guys I respected. Follow them on the road, nice and tidy, in between the centre line and the fault line. You know, they're never all over the road cutting corners. They were just professional. They might, and sometimes they might be a bit slow, but often they weren't. They knew what they were doing. Those are the guys I want to emulate. So, you know, like I feel like it's just a matter of attitude, really, what it comes down to. Is do you want to be one of those guys that's out there putting out negative energy and you know, racking people up, or do you want to be one of those guys that that people respect and that people, you know, like, people have time for you? And I'll be honest, I've had my moments. We all have those days. I had a guy a while back on a passing lane. He obviously wanted to go a little bit faster, but he had a speed limiter. His speed limiter was maybe 1 or 2 k's an hour faster than what I was doing. He pulled out and passed on a passing lane, and I held him out, and then gave shit over the CV about the fact that he didn't complete his passing maneuver in the passing lane. I'd had a shit day, and I wanted someone else to be the bad guy. And in hindsight, I felt like a dick. I thought about it later, and I thought, that's not the kind of guy I want to be. And this is recently, so yeah, like I say, we all have those days. I'm not proud of it, but I'm facing up to it because, you know, like I say, no one's perfect. But you know, like, if someone wants to come around, even if they're only doing 1 or 2 k's an hour faster, it's not going to kill you to back off and let them go. At the end of the day, we've all been the other guy trying to get past. You get halfway past that truck that's been holding you up for a while, and you hit that speed limiter. I don't agree with speed limiters in trucks myself for that reason, but yeah, you hit that speed limiter, and then you just get held out, and then no one wins. So it's just a matter of consideration. You know, you hold someone up, they're all over. I don't like having guys all over my ass tailgating me, which I don't agree with. You want to come around, get on the CB, have a chat. Hey mate, you feel good? Bit of a hurry, is there any chance I can come around? Yeah, bro, sweet as. Next time we get to a straight, I'll back off and let you go. You know, like, it's that easy. Whereas guys will tailgate, you're going to be all over your ass. You get, I myself, I hate being tailgated, so then I get to the point where I'll drop a couple of k's down, I'll slow down a bit just to fuck with it. Like, hey, you know, you want to go, you know, you want to be like that, I could be a dick too. And then, like I say, that whole attitude of butting heads, no one wins. It's petty, but, and I, like I say, I'm reevaluating the way I drive on the road this year. I want to try and be more of a positive energy guy. I want to be one of those guys that we're all in a hurry, but someone's in more of a hurry, come around, mate. I'm just going to hold you up. Then you go, you know. Hopefully they'll come on and be like, cheers, mate, appreciate that. Have a good night. Usually that's the case. 9 times out of 10 that'll be the case. And you get a good feeling about that. You think that's how it should be. You know, like it's not that hard. Of course, not everyone's going to be like that, but like I say, if we all try and spread the same vibe, you know, think of it as like trying to pull out of a side road. Some guy flashes his lights, lets you out. Next time you get 100 metres up the road, someone else is trying to pull out of a side road, you're going to think, pay that forward, return that favour. And that's how this attitude can work. Like, it can work in other ways in the industry. So if we all think, hey, instead of being, fuck this guy, he's been a dick, I'm going to cut him off or hold him out or whatever, just think, let him go. You know, maybe he's been a dick, maybe he's tailgating. Maybe have a word, maybe just be like, hey buddy, I've done this myself, just like, hey buddy, do you want to come around? No, I'm all good. Okay, sweet, can you back off a little bit? I don't mind you, you know, I don't mind letting you go if you're in a hurry, but if you're not, maybe just ease off a little bit. I'm just not a big fan of having people right up my ass. I don't, I've seen what can happen. I won't go into details, but I've seen a very, very nasty consequence of trucks tailgating each other, so it's just not worth it. And you know, we'll want to get home, we'll want to get to where we're going, but we also will want to get home at the end of the week. You know, it's this time of the year, we're all thinking about family stuff, and just cruise control switch just fell off. That's never happened. You know, we all want to get there, so yeah, if you see someone doing something stupid, maybe just have a chat. And like I say, it doesn't have to be an aggressive chat. Maybe just a friendly word. Like I say, these people pulled me aside and they said, look, you know, we just want you to go down the right path as a driver. And I appreciate, to this day, I appreciate the fact they had the respect for me to pull me aside and say, you know, we think you're doing all right, but just you know, there's a couple of things maybe I'd done. I was young, I was stupid, had a loud truck, and I was starting to maybe emulate the guy I shared this truck with, because he'd been driving longer than me, he was kind of mentoring me, and I was like, oh, this is how you drive. And they said, you know, you go one way or another. So, and I'm glad I went the way I did. I feel like, for the most part, pretty happy with the way my driving career's gone in those respects. So I've never thought of myself as a mentor, but I've had people approach me and say, you know, like, oh, I've looked up to you, and which shocks me, because I forget sometimes how old I am and how long I've been doing this. I still think of myself as a young guy starting out in the industry. So it's quite funny when people are like, oh, I've followed you for a while, and but it's also sort of woken me up to the fact that, you know, people are always watching. People are always watching what you do, good or bad. And it's a very small country and an even smaller industry. And with, especially with social media these days, we all know how quickly things go viral, how quickly things get out there. But also, a couple of good examples. Everybody, most of you will know, I worked for Ross Whitfield for a while. Ross is very well known in the Hawke's Bay. And when I first started driving for him, I was on that, actually I was driving for Celtic first, to be fair, but I was driving with Ross's contract to Whitfield, and so I was karting for Ross, for Celtic originally, and it wasn't long before Ross had the measure of me. Ross and I have known each other for many years, by the way, but he had feedback, you know, plenty of people know Ross. Oh yeah, so your driver coming down the road the other day, roadie rah, he was doing this or that or the other. He let one of my drivers past, or he let me past, or he was holding me up, or whatever. He was all over the road, uses his brakes a lot, I don't know, whatever. That kind of feedback, you know. And now working for John Lockley, again, John knows a lot of people, and it doesn't take long for things to get back to John. So, you know, he's one guy. So, you know, when you think about it, people talk. So you got to bear that in mind when you're out on the road. You know, you also don't know who you're dealing with. You come up across a car that's maybe driving a bit slow. You know, we've all been behind that car that's frustrating. They speed up on the passing lanes, they slow down on the rest of the road, and you just want to get past. And the obvious temptation is to go right up their ass and intimidate them. But you don't know who's driving that car. It could be, you know, it could be a customer, it could be the mother or a relative of a customer, it could be a relative of your boss or someone in the industry. Obviously I worked for Mainfreight for 10 years, and you know, Mainfreight's a massive company. Mainfreight obviously has a lot of staff. All of those staff have families. You just don't know who you come across. So we're all tempted to do it, and we've all done it. I've done it, if I'm honest, in the past. So, you know, maybe just next time you come across a car that's going slow, just think, who's driving that car, you know? Either that, it might be an elderly person. Maybe they're shitting themselves, maybe they're really scared. The last thing they need is a big truck up behind them, intimidating them and making them feel scared. They're probably going to do something stupid, so just bear that in mind. I mean, I'm not on here trying to tell people how to drive or what to do, but I guess just coming into this new year, I don't know, it's a good time to reevaluate. You know, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but starting a new year is always a good time to reevaluate where you're at, what you do, and you know, maybe you just want to approach things with a better attitude, and that's where I'm at. Just with some conversations I've had recently with people, it's just sort of, yeah, it's kind of sat with me over the last couple of days, just spending some time just chilling and reflecting on some things, and I just thought I'd share these thoughts and see if they resonate with anyone. You never know. If they do, great. If they don't, that's fine. These are just my opinions. I don't expect everyone's going to agree with me, so I have to push my switch without the front. Oh, that's fallen off. We'll have to find that later. Yeah, again, I'm open to any feedback in the comments on this video. By all means, let me know what you think. Also, let me know if you have any ideas for future videos like this. I'm thinking about doing, I've had a couple of people ask me to do some. I had a rant on Snapchat the other day about policing speeding and my thoughts on that. And I had a couple of people approach me and say that they were interested in seeing more of my opinions, strangely enough, on this. So I've been thinking about doing a bunch of things, my opinions on just things that involve or affect mostly us in the transport industry, for example. Again, been doing this a while now, and obviously I've got some opinions. Not expecting everyone to agree with them, but if you know, if anyone's interested in hearing them, I'm happy to share them. So maybe I'll do, if this video is well received, maybe I'll do some more about some other subjects. But for the most part, like I say, I'm just trying to put out some positive vibes, maybe plant a seed that'll grow, and see if we can get the brotherhood of the trucking community headed in the right direction. You know, there's still plenty of guys out there, old school guys, who are totally into it, and you know, plenty of young guys too, to be fair, who are coming into the industry and bringing it with them as well. Maybe they've grown up second or third generation truckies. Not all of them are, but some of them have been mentored by the right people, and it's cool to see that they're bringing that attitude into the future generations of trucking, which is cool to see. So it's all good. Just putting out positive vibes and hoping to share that with you all. So yeah, keep it safe, keep it happy, and happy trucking, everyone.